What's good, ladies and gents? Welcome to the MKO Pugilism Boxing channel, where we talk all things boxing. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification, put it on all so you get notified all the latest content as and when it comes out on the channel. So let's get into this one. So a bit of a disappointment for the boxing fans this month. I, for one, personally was looking forward to seeing Artur Beterbiev defending his WBC, WBO, and IBF light heavyweight titles with his 100% knockout record against Callum Smith of Liverpool this month. It was meant to be this month, August, but unfortunately, Beterbiev has got a jaw infection, and according to what I've just read now from Boxing Scene, this match is going to be rescheduled now for January the 13th. So it's quite a long time. And it's interesting with these types of infections. It's like a jaw infection. So yeah, it seems like quite a while to recover. That's like, what is it? We're in August now, so you got September, October, November, December. So it's like 4 months just to recover from whatever this infection is. Apparently, he was having some dental treatment, and during the process of whatever this treatment was, he's got some sort of infection, and allegedly, he won't be ready until January. So, yeah, interesting. I think it is going to be a good fight. Overall, I'm definitely favoring Beterbiev. He's a guy that we've seen him able to box on the back foot and on the front foot, a thunderous, thudding puncher, and no one's been able to really stand up to his power. The closest one is, I believe, Anthony the Beast from the East, Yard. Anthony Yard, although he lost the fight, he did very well. He was beaten. He was knocked out by Beterbiev, or, well, we could call it a TKO because Tunde Jat, his coach, stepped in. He threw the towel in, and he'd seen enough of his fighter taking the punishment. But Anthony Yard is the one that actually, really stuck it on him. I suppose you could say Johnson as well, Callum Johnson. He was able to put Beterbiev down, but Yard was able to, at least in my view, was able to take some rounds off of Beterbiev, make Beterbiev actually have to think and actually have to step up his game. He really pushed him and really challenged him. And this is one of those fights where I want to say Callum Smith, heavy underdog. And as far as this delay now, I'm honestly not too sure who it's going to benefit more. I suspect that maybe it will benefit Artur Beterbiev more because he's the older guy. He's the guy right at the very end of his career. He's essentially pushing 40. I think Beterbiev is now about 38. I think he's he'll be 39, I think, very soon, his next birthday. So he's a guy that's sort of pushing 40. So perhaps for him, this sort of longer period might suit him better because he's a bit older, so he may need more time to prepare or whatever. But I sort of favour him in the fight. As far as Smith goes, I think personally, I could be wrong in this, but I think Smith could maybe do with a little run out. He could maybe do with a fight in the interim because he'll be all sort of geared up. He would have been training towards this date in August, and then to not get to fight, I think he needs at least some activity. It could be someone mediocre. It could be just someone as a run out is what I think Smith needs now. In the meantime, I think let Beterbiev do what he's doing. Beterbiev can, take his time and wait until January. But if I'm Callum Smith or in his team, I'd be thinking about activity. Get Callum Smith a run out, get him somebody, just an average opponent, a guy that's going to perhaps take him a few rounds, because I think he needs to burn that energy. He needs activity. And if he gets a fight in now, maybe stops someone, takes him out, it'll mean, it's not a wasted training camp. It will mean that he gets to get in there and at least see some sort of action, because it can be very frustrating, of course, when you get these delays. And January is quite a way away to not, for a fighter, not to be able to be out there fighting. So I personally think what Smith and his team should do is try and get him a run out, try and get him a fight against just somebody, get a bit of activity so that he's not going into this, and also to shake off any ring rust. I think a fight for Callum Smith in the interim will be good in that sense, in that respect, that if he goes out there and he fights somebody, it'll mean that he'll have momentum going into the Artur Beterbiev fight, because Beterbiev, he's one of the hardest punchers in boxing, and you want to go into him, you want to go into a fight with him, should I say, at your very, very best, at your very, very sharpest. And I think the way you keep sharp is you keep fighting, you keep yourself active, keep yourself busy. So that's my opinion on it. I'm disappointed that we don't get to see it this month. I think the layoff will probably benefit Artur Beterbiev more out of the two if Callum Smith doesn't have a fight in the interim. But I think if Smith can get himself out in the interim, then it kind of ups his chances in this fight. I think you never know with Beterbiev. Beterbiev has looked very good in his previous fights. He had a war with Anthony Yarde, so he's a guy that he does get injured. He has got wear and tear on his body, so you never know. This fight against Callum Smith could be a fight where Artur Beterbiev gets a bit old, where the wear and tear that he's got on his body, on his older frame, could come into play in this fight. But at the end of the day, we've got to wait and see now. So January 13th it is for the WBC, WBO, and IBF light heavyweight titles. The only other man with a title is Dmitry Bivol, who's got the WBA. So he's got the other belt there. And disappointed about the date, but as long as we get to see the fight, I'll be happy to see it when it does happen. But yeah, hopefully Smith can get himself out, give himself a run out in the meantime. Let me know what you think about this January 13th date change for Beterbiev versus Smith. And until next time, it's MKO Pugilism over and out. See you on the next vid.